Welcome to another program in our series on Free Thinking Forum. I'm Bill Weir, the host and producer. We really value hearing other points of view on this program, and I'm so glad to have with me a wonderful woman from Lebanon, Rawan Yaghi. Welcome to our program.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
You are an educator. You are also a social activist. We'll be looking forward to hearing more about those dimensions of your life. But first of all, may I ask, what are you doing in Minnesota?
Yeah, I am here as a Humphrey Fellow, and this is an exchange program with the State Department to different countries of the world.
Oh, the U.S. Department of State has chosen you to...
There are 171 fellows currently in the States, and I am one of 3 Lebanese in different universities.
Good.
So I'm here at the Humphrey School in the University of Minnesota studying public affairs and administration. And I do some affiliations with other organizations where I can implement those things that I learned here back in Lebanon.
Good. And can this help your future plans in Lebanon?
Yeah, of course, because I am basically an educator, as you said, and I'm trying in my mid-career to implement more about the civil society, and especially the role of women in politics, and the role of education in changing and making a change agent for our community. So what I'm trying to get from here is the policies regarding women education and women in politics and implementing them back there. So I'm going to be also doing my internship with Women's Democracy Network in DC at the end of the program.
Yeah.
And this is going to help us because we've done a lot of things before with them. And it's not only like what you get in theory from or from your trials and errors when you are doing that in your country, but also getting it from a very good source and trying to do something different when you are in your country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That sounds very appropriate to have that kind of experience with women who are in politics here to help others in Lebanon.
It was very interesting to be to talk with women who are very impressive, and they have done some changes in the United States. And I think also through my internship, it's going to be also very, very interesting, especially that I've worked with Women's Democracy Network in different levels in Lebanon and in the Arab world, which is very impressive and interesting for me as well.
And why do you focus on women's education?
Yeah.
Is there more that you'd like to say about that?
Of course. Well, in Lebanon, and not only in Lebanon, in most of the Arab world and in the region, it's very important to include women, and especially in Lebanon after the civil war, where a lot of women were not getting enough education, and the education now is turning from French as a second language to English as a second language. So these women find their kids at school learning English just same as Arabic, and that's how it is in our system. So if you're getting 9 hours of Arabic, you get 9 hours of English. And they feel that they are behind and that their kids know more than them. So it's good for their feeling, for how they feel about themselves. And it's also important for the job in the future. So if they are going to university now, they have English entrance exams. And if they are going to apply for a job, they are going to have an English test. So it's very important for their economic level. It's good for their psychological level and how they feel about themselves. So it's very, very important for women to get better education. And we had different initiatives of women education, and especially now English. And this project that we are so much interested in, and I was the educational director for it for a couple of years, 3 or 4 years, is teaching women English.
And is this is the title
of the book.
That we can see on the cover of the book, and a
Yeah.
beautiful picture of the
Yeah,
many
it's-
women who are.
It's in Pardibian. It
learning.
was one of these trips that the women were at. Yeah, it's very nice place. Well, in this book, it was two years or 2 years after the project started, so it was a very ambitious way of thinking about women, because these women are between 17 and 70.
What a wide
17 and
range.
70, yes. And it's very important because some of them want to go to the university, and some of them are grandmas and they are Skyping with their grandchildren in the States and Canada and others. So it's important for everyone. And if you go to Beirut to the coffee shops or restaurants, most of the waiters talk to you in English.
Oh.
Yes, and that's very important for their self-esteem. So we started with other books at the beginning, and then we decided that, okay, the women want something different, and what can we do to make that learning more appropriate for them? So these women get 150 hours of English for free as a
No tuition.
no tuition, nothing. So
Oh.
they get that as a scholarship from the U.S. Embassy in Lebanon.
Oh, good.
And this grant is now administered by 2 organizations, and they are getting to 42 classes in different regions of Lebanon, rural and urban, and to women from all sects, all parts of the community.
And Lebanon is not a large country. I heard you say it was about 1/3 the size of Maryland.
It is like just bigger from Rhode Island, a little smaller than New Hampshire. And yeah, it's very small. And we have about 5 million of population.
And then about how many in Beirut?
About 2 million people live in Beirut.
Yeah.
And but the classes are all over Lebanon. And
Good.
we really focus on the rural areas because they don't have other means of, this is considered like as an entertainment for some women in rural areas also. And we don't only focus on the 150 hours of English, because there are some other projects that are with that, like we have like film screenings, citizenship trainings, conferences, women celebrate International Women's Day, and there are many other things that the women are interested in. So they also have trips for 5-6 clusters, and they are usually from different regions, from different sects, and then they see that they have similar attitude.
Yeah. Even though they haven't gotten acquainted with people of other faiths.
Yeah, in some cases they don't know women. How do women who are from Tripoli, for example, look like, or from Hermel in the North Bekaa? So they see that these women are just similar. They're just like us. We have the same worries, and we are having dinner or lunch, or we're climbing this mountain together. So it's very interesting for them. Yeah.
Good. Helping make Lebanon one country.
That's what we want. I hope we are able to do that, at least through this program. And we are able to get into around like 900 women every year.
900 a year.
900 women every year, and that's about since 2008. We are now in the 7th year.
Now, I want to know more about Lebanon, but I want to first ask about your book, Women Teaching Women English.
Yeah.
Can it be used in other countries?
Yeah, actually this book was made after a needs analysis for the women who were learning at that time, and when we got the feedback, we worked on that also with a grant from the U.S. Embassy to University of Oregon to work on the book. So I was working with University of Oregon as a co-author, and we tried to get all the sensitive areas for the women in the Arab and Muslim world, and we wanted them to learn the way that they wanted and in what they are interested in. So we focused on 10 themes, including food, culture, and then the community service and how women can be empowered and others. So it has also the cultural sensitivity of the pictures and everything. So they feel that this book is designed for them, and it can be implemented and it can be used in other parts of the Arab or Muslim world. Lebanon is not a Muslim country, and our president is Christian, but we have like more than half of the population Muslim. So we want everyone to be included, not only like the regular book that we can get in Lebanon, like textbook.
So, what is the current situation of the women in politics in Lebanon? Are there many that have been elected to public office?
Well, since the first elections in Lebanon, we had 10 different women who have been in the parliament.
10 out of how many?
Out of all the parliaments.
300
or more. So we have 128 MPs in each round, in each like 4
members
years.
of parliament?
Yeah. And now we have 4 women, which is 3.25% of women in the parliament. Yeah.
And you're about 50% of the population.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the problem is that women are not really very well present in the political parties, and at least they are not on the high level of political parties. So there are different quotas in Lebanon. We have the sectarian, the religious. So in each political party, they have to be with others. So, for example, in my area, which is Baalbek, there are 6 Shiites who should run for the office, and 2 Sunnis and 2 Christians, 1 Maronite and 1 Catholic. So there are different divisions, and then where is the woman going to be? They have to have their own quota in order to be able to get there. Otherwise, it's only going through their family heritage in politics. So most of the women are getting that because her husband was assassinated, and that was like a big thing for her, and she was directly exposed. In some cases, it was her father assassinated also, or her brother. So this is something, I'm not saying that these women are not good, but there are also some women who have the potentials and are very well prepared to be in politics.
So
but the political parties are just not taking them because there is no law and there is no quota, and it's not going to work otherwise.
But you are part of the revolution.
I am. And yes, we want more women to run. And I have trained 55 women last year from different parts of Lebanon, and it wasn't only me. There were 2 more women from other places in Lebanon, and we have altogether trained about 200 women.
200 potential members of parliament.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That could be revolutionary.
Yes, we hope that we're going to have
A
elections.
peaceful election and,
Yeah.
and change.
Yeah, we hope so as well.
But are there some other initiatives, or would you care to elaborate more on what you've told already?
There are many initiatives that are trying to get women into politics. So there are, and women in general, like to empower women. So there are like CAFA, which is trying to do things that are related to domestic violence. And there are initiatives on women giving the citizenship to her children and her husband, because the women in Lebanon cannot do that. Yes, women in Lebanon cannot give citizenship. So the other thing is that there are women who are trying to get more women into politics, and there is now a new initiative that I saw when I was here. It's Women in Governance, and they are also found on Facebook. There are also this group that is Women in Front, Women in the Front. They are doing a lot of things related to women and including women. And there are also some European and American grants to Lebanese civil society to include more women in politics, in municipal level, in civil society, and in empowering women. So there are a lot of initiatives, but the problem is that we need the law to be to pass, and that's going to be through this current parliament. And
Good.
this is what we want from them. Let's sign, please. Okay. Yeah.
And I didn't quite understand, what change will this law make? Will it require equal representation in members of parliament, or is this about the?
Even if we get the quota of 1/3 of women running in each list, okay, that would be okay for us to start with. We want, like, our goal is to have like 50% of the elected people.
Yes.
But we are starting with even 1/3. This is the law that they are addressing, like to the current parliament, of 1/3 running with each list. And still this one is not passing.
Well, I sure hope that you get opportunity to be represented more fully in Parliament.
Yeah, we hope so.
And getting that law passed. But you have led a wonderful session in the University of Minnesota's Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, which I just attended.
Yeah.
You have told so much more about Lebanon. Could you tell us more from?
Well, I'd like to tell some things about Lebanon that are stereotyped.
Oh, good.
And
things that we
that
wrongly,
people might not know usually about Lebanon. Exactly, the myths about Lebanon. Lebanon is in the Middle East, so people have desert and camels. That's not true.
No.
So Lebanon has its snowstorms that can be up to 4 and 5 feet in some areas.
Wow.
We have two mountain chains, and one of the highest in the Middle East is in Lebanon. And we have our mountain and beach are very close to each other, so you can be skiing in the morning and swimming in the evening. And so it's very, very close to each other. The other thing is that people are stereotyped according to their religion. So people might be mistakenly thought about like the radicals because they come from a certain region or because they are of a certain religion, which is not true. And we are trying to have another voice also in politics to show that, for example, not all the Christians who live in a certain area are of this political party, or not all of the Shiites who are living in this area are of this political party. So we want to have like better kind of representation that show the citizenship rather than the religious or the religion that this political party is affiliated with. And this is something that we try to also make people understand. One of the myths is that the northeast Bekaa, and like in Baalbek, my city, for example, is all one religion. That's not true. It is 3 or 4 religions, 2 Christians and 2 Muslims. And these are things that people also don't know. People would focus on one thing in the media that happens every now and then, and this is not the situation. For example, if I hear something about the United States in the news, it's because it's something different. It's not because it's something usual.
And we should know that about other countries too.
The same. So when something happens, it's not like something that is always there. That's why you hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really willing to go back to my country. And I think that there is nothing new that we haven't lived with before. It doesn't mean that everything is okay, no. But we have a role. We want to change. It's like my role as a leader in my community, and that's why I was selected, I think, to come to the Humphrey School, is to get this information and to tell this to the world, and also to learn from this community and to take it back to Lebanon and make my country somewhere better to live. So this is very important.
Now, as I understand it, the monarchy has ended.
We don't have monarchy in Lebanon.
Yeah, now you have a president and a prime minister leading the country?
Well, it is a little bit different. The time of the president ended last year, so we don't have a president now.
Oh.
And it is like related to the elections of the parliament. And the parliament is like extending its time.
They are failing to call the election.
Yeah, because of the situation, they say. So we hope that we're going to have elections so soon. And Lebanon is like the president, and the second person is the House, the
Prime Minister?
No, not the Prime Minister. The House of Representatives.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then the Prime Minister. Prime Minister is number 3. So now we don't have a president, but we hope that we're going to have one soon. So it means that we're going to have elections soon for the parliament.
Good. Well, I hope that does come about in a peaceful, constructive way with many of the people you've trained having the opportunity to seek that seat in the parliament.
I hope so. I don't know with the current situation.
But what are some of the things that draw people to Lebanon? I understand it, at least in decades past, it was seen as the most wonderful place to go.
It was considered like the Switzerland of the East.
Yes.
And it's still a very beautiful country.
It is.
It is very, very beautiful. I can tell you, like the services in Lebanon, wherever you go to a restaurant or to a coffee shop or anything that you would need, any kind of luxury, it is served in cheaper prices than anywhere else in the world. And people always want to go to a very fancy place. And there is nothing like, what do you have? So that's, you're dressed up. Why? People are always dressed up. And people always look good, and they always want to have good life, and they are always joking and having fun regardless of the situation. So even if there is a battle somewhere, you just like half an hour, 1 hour, people are just going out after that. So they love life.
They are not scared to come out of their homes.
No, they are not quitters.
Yeah, not quitters.
No, they
Good.
want to live.
Well, it takes maybe it's what we sometimes used to call spunk.
Yeah.
To be able to get out there and live a full life, even though there may be a battle nearby or in the recent past.
Yeah.
But we have about 7 minutes left. What would you like us to know about Lebanon and the people?
Okay. Well, people like to come to Lebanon because they like the food, which is authentic there. People like to come to Lebanon to go to the historic places, and Lebanon was one of the very first countries in the world because it's one of the first civilizations was the Phoenician.
Yes, I think I saw over 7,000 years ago.
Yeah.
There were signs of civilization remaining in Lebanon.
It started with the Phoenicians, and they had their cities usually over on the coastal area, on the coastal line, which is about 225 kilometers, and it's on the Mediterranean. So in these areas, we had Tyre and Sidon, and then in Syria there was Ogarit, and then there was another civilization. The Romans had their biggest places, and they had a big focus on Lebanon. In the city
as a place to take vacation.
No, actually, they had some of the greatest temples that they had
really?
in
The
Lebanon.
temples?
Yeah. So Baalbek temples, for example, were the pilgrimage temples for the Romans. They came from all over the Roman Empire for pilgrimage in Baalbek. It had 7 temples then: Jupiter, Bacchus, Neptune, and others. And it was for all the levels of the society. So Baalbek was very important at that time, and it's one of their best reserved temples. Now there are like the international festivals of Baalbek are very famous, and Julio Iglesias, Sting, and others have been to Baalbek. Like some of the very famous orchestras in the world came, and they performed in front of 5,000 people in the international festivals of Baalbek. So there are many other places also, and then they had the Byzantine era, and then the Islamic period when they had some different architecture design. We have a lot of historical places, and the services are very good, and the people are very, very friendly. So they really like to take you to their places, to take you out, to invite you to dinner. So it is very friendly place, and it's very crazy when it comes to clubbing and beach parties. So what I have seen in Miami, for example, is less than what I have seen in Lebanon.
Really?
Yes.
So the nightclubs there can go farther than the nightclubs in Miami.
Yes, believe me, yes.
But most women are most women attired as you are now, or are they?
Yeah, this is one of the questions that people ask me. So, are you supposed to cover when you are back in Lebanon? And this is something that is not found there. People don't get into your personal space at all. They don't ask you. They don't impose you to do anything. There is nothing like that in Lebanon. So you can be a Muslim and decide not to cover, and go to the beach. And if you want to wear a bikini or you want to wear the hijab all together, like it's up to you. It's a personal
I saw
choice.
one of the pictures. I could only see the
Eyes. These are women that we call it a niqab, and this is very rare actually, and it's not for all the sects of Lebanon.
It's just a small.
Not really. It's not all the sects of Lebanon wear the niqab, or it is new now. It's something that is not very, very like.
Oh, it's new.
Somehow,
Yeah.
it used to be there before, like decades before, but it's not the trend anymore. Now there are many, very few people who choose to wear the niqab, and it's for some sects, not for all the sects of the Muslims.
So
And you can see a Muslim who is wearing a hijab and jeans and a shirt, just like any other woman.
good.
Yeah.
So and from what you say, it sounds like people accept people as they are.
Yes, they do. And there are Christians who are more conservative in their attire than some other Muslim women. So it doesn't matter. And people, they have tolerance. They understand each other. You can see a woman who is with the abaya or the chador, walking on the street with a woman who is in a very tight dress, for example. So yeah, there is tolerance, and there are many things that are being done in order to make Lebanon more open and tolerant, and there are initiatives to bring youth together in order to create a better Lebanon for the future.
Well, I'm so happy to know you, Rawan, to realize how much you have contributed to making
you.
your country better.
I'm so glad and grateful that I am here at the last month of being in Minnesota on your TV channel and with you, and to tell something about Lebanon.
Oh, it is our joy to learn more about other parts of the world. We are trying to be aware of our globe and the many ways that people can live healthily and wise in their own way.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us on this program of Free Thinking Forum. And I can appreciate now more than ever that in Lebanon people do let others think as they and dress as they see fit.
Yeah.
Not imposing on others. So thank you for listening, and maybe we'll meet in Lebanon sometime.
Hopefully. Thank you. Are you done?
Yeah.